Well, this is what happens when you have a hangover, is I forgot to turn the camera on. So you're going to have to install the ride height adjustment rings, which are the AX80035-4. And they just basically screw onto the body. You're then going to want to use your 30 weight oil, and you're going to fill up the shocks almost all the way, but not quite, and you're going to pump the shaft up and down a few times to get the bubbles out. And you want no air bubbles in your shocks to continue to the next step. So much for the hangover, and I apologize, but hey, we're doing what we can. Alright, now that the shock fluid is settled in, we've gone ahead and topped off the fluids on them. You don't want to go all the way to the top, you want to leave a little bit. You can actually see the shininess on the tops here. So, let's go ahead and attempt to see how these little bladder caps are going to go on. You can see that they're rounded. Oh, and they're clear and hard to find. I probably dropped that one on the floor. Boy, you've got to love these hangovers. Ha! Let me try to find it and we'll be right back. Okay, I found it. The worst part about finding it was bending over. Oh, the blood rushed to my head. Okay, let's take our shock and we're going to push the shock shaft up about halfway. And that should, get it on camera here, that pretty much brings the fluid to the top here. Let's take the little bladder. We're going to get a paper towel under us here because it's going to leak all over the place. Let's lay that bladder down inside and displace the fluid until that bladder fully sits down on top here. It's not an easy thing to do. It's messy, but you'll get it. And as soon as enough of the fluid is displaced, that bladder's just going to sit right down in there. I just keep curling the end back and pushing it down in. Come on. Until all of the oil is displaced. And then I'm going to pull down on the shaft. It's kind of hard to see in my hand here. I'm going to pull down on that shaft a little bit, and it sucks that bladder right down in there where it stays. And we're going to put a lid on. Screw it in slowly. Just going to tighten it up fairly tight by hand. And then your shaft should go in and out freely, just like so. That's how we fill and bleed a shock. Go ahead and fill the rest of them up here, and then we'll move on to the next step of hangover shock building. Okay, step number 37, our last hangover step for shock building today. Alright, we are going to take our ball ends here. They're a little bit bigger than the ones that we've been using. And you can see the part number right over here. Let's go ahead and press those in. Actually, they aren't going to stay in, so we're going to set those over to the side, and we'll use them a little bit later in the next step when we install the shocks. So, what are we going to do? We are going to take the front shocks, which are the shorter shocks. These are the front shocks. These are the shorter springs. So these will be the front springs. And we're going to slide the spring over the shaft. And then it rides on the little collar adjuster here. And then we are going to put the perch on here. Actually, we're going to move the little rubber bumper stopper up on the shaft, and then install the spring perch, which should slide over and push down. Are we doing this properly? It looks like the rear shock, yeah, rear shocks use the, okay. Guess we're just going to have to adjust down the ride height adjuster here a little bit to keep pressure on everything. There we go. That's how that works. Actually, I can back that off a little bit. You just want it so that the spring just has a little tension on it for now. We'll readjust those later. Okay, for those of us who don't remember what we just did, let's slide the bump stop up, put the spring on, slide the perch over the end, and adjust this so that nothing falls off. Just a little tension. There we go. Going to take the longer springs and do the same on the rear. And that, my friends, is the end of hangover shock building. I'm going to go drink some orange juice and raw eggs, or maybe I'll just take a nap, because I ain't feeling so good. There we go. Alright, that is the end of step number 37, and we shall move on another date to step number 38. Bye. We are going to skip step number 38, which is putting the shocks onto the roll cage. The reason we're going to do that is that we have a lot of work to do on the roll cage, and they just kind of dangle and get in the way. We don't want that now. Okay, so on to step number 39. We are going to assemble our radiator. So we're going to get out our pieces and parts for that. I decided that I wanted to paint my little fans orange color, so I did a real shitty job of doing that, but it doesn't matter because they are pretty much enclosed. If you look on the cover here, you can see that there are two little nubs. Those little nubs align with the holes in the radiator. So we're going to make sure that those line up and pop in there, which sometimes is easier said than done. There we go. Now you can see the little red through there, kinda. It's just a nice little added touch. So we're going to do that on both of these and then put the screws in. Ooh, see, the other day we were drunk building shocks and now we can't find the hole. We're just doing real good here. Come on. There we go. Is that in there? There we go. Now they're both slid into the little holes, and we'll put the screws in. This is difficult, isn't it? Okay, we'll pop them little puppies in there. Now we are going to mount this to the roll cage. We'll grab our roll cage here, and it looks like this is the back, so we'll hold the back this way, and it looks like this is going to mount to two holes somewhere. Actually, that's the front. Looks like these two little beveled holes right here. Bevel hole 1 and 2. Looks like we need to find some screws for that. We've got them hiding right over here. I'm going to put a screw down in there. It might be easier to do it that way. And we'll take a look at the unit here, and we have flat spots here, and we have not flat spots here. We have little posts and then little flat spots. So this is going to point towards us as we put it in there. Reach under there. See if we can't get one of these started. There we go. There's one of them. We'll line the other hole up. We'll get the second one in there. Make sure that's actually grabbing. There we go. That is step number 39. We'll get out our pieces and parts, move on to step number 40. Step 40. If you're going to be using lights, you're going to want to attach these little light holder doodads onto the back. I've already attached 3 of them on there, even though we're not doing lights. I wanted to probably do them later and didn't want to have to go digging back through my parts box to find these little light holder doodads. So I'm installing them now so that we know where they are. It's pretty simple to do, unless you're me. Hey, you guys want to actually see this? Let me turn on the light. Ha! Now you can actually see what I'm doing in there. We're just going to screw that in until it touches. And you'll stick your LED inside there, and then the wires will come out of the little slots that you see. And it's an easy way to attach your LEDs. Now, I was looking all through my box to try to find the lenses, and needless to say, it says not included. So we just have holes there. All my other kits that I've built from Axial have the lenses in there, but this one does not. So we'll move on to the next step, and that is to grab the 2 longer screws.
Warning.
Oh, geez.
It's the wife.
I'll be right back. Well, if you're anything like me, when the boss calls, you must answer. Okay, so moving on to the next step. We are going to mount this little puppy on here. And again, we're going to hold this so that the fans that we just mounted are towards us. And we are going to put this in to the holes that are provided for us somewhere. Okay. Looks like we're going to use these 2 holes right here and come in from the bottom with the screws. So let's see if this fits in there the way it should. Fits right up there. And we're going to try to hold this and put screws in at the same time. Guess it helps to have the right side driver. We'll go ahead and see if we can get these in. Damn it, everybody's after me. Now they're ringing at the door. Be right back.